WF representing Palace, so let's tell you about Palace. Rolling straight to the ceiling, crowns and crystals, top like journeys, dishing out malice. Hold up, South London's grandest, far from bandits. Anything earned for a goal of elevation, just passing the team over here might finish out bright future, we can't vanish. SE25 any day, that's sellers. Rev up the engines, no more reverse reactions, fan cams, bands on stream. Share up the team, support the dream team when Eagles fly, make noise and scheme. Dare to dream or dream to dare, taking a step to become supreme.
Good evening. Good evening. Yeah, the hair's a mess. I don't care. Hope you're well. Hope you've recovered from yesterday's disappointment as well. And as you know, we tend to do the match reactions the day after. So obviously we can gather our thoughts, rewatch things if need be, because obviously the emotion of it directly, you see fan cams, we could get things right, get things wrong at the time, but it is what it is. And unfortunately, we did lose 2-0 to West Ham yesterday. Now, I'm going to try and pick out some positives first, and then I'm going to pick up where things went a bit wrong. And I will drop the link as well. If anyone wants to come in and share their thoughts on the game, they're more than welcome to as well. This may not be a long stream because there's not much positive to talk about. And obviously, outside of what we had on the fan cams yesterday, I don't know. But listen, we're here. Starting lineup. Let's start with that. Obviously, I think the biggest question mark was whether or not Mark Gay, one of them would be if whether Gay would start, and he did, which was good. Chaddy Red obviously came in on the left side of our centre back. Lerma came in, which no one was mad about. But then it was Edouard. Edouard came in the 10. Now, you know what, in the past, and I've openly said this, listen, when he plays with Mateta, there seems to be some sort of connection. It just doesn't happen often. Let's start with Riyad, though, because I think the Eddie one, yeah. As I mentioned in my fan cam yesterday, look, he started off very ropey. We could see it, like, he tried to play forward and passes were going off the pitch. He couldn't find Mitchell. He was getting intercepted. He had a very tough time. And even before that, and we have to be very honest here, guys, and this is to do linked with Chaddy Riyad as well. West Ham could have scored 2 goals from set piece, from 2 corner kicks in the first 10 minutes. Because I'll tell you, the first 10 to 15 were West Ham. Then we settled. And I think we kind of had the better of the rest of the first half, you know. And the second half was just kind of like both teams looked poor. And it was kind of like whoever scores first will end up going to take initiative and win the game. But obviously, Bowen swung is their outswingers. And obviously, the immediate threats, obviously, like Souček, Antonio. Who else would be good in the air at the back? And they've also got now Kilman and my apologies for butchered his name. And on both occasions, Mikel Antonio has found himself free outside the far post where there's a tap-in available. Now, he will be kicking himself more so for the first one than the second one. Because the first one, he got his head to it. He just couldn't guide it. And then you can see that, I believe it might have been Gay or Richards. One of them was, no, it was Eddie, sorry. I was explaining this to Chaddy. Like, look, you've got to keep an eye on him. Because obviously we're working zonally. The next corner kick comes in. It's literally carbon copy. You know, but I think this time around, I think it was just a bit too high for Antonio. But not only that, there was still 2 West Ham players at the back post, you know, trying to get it at the back post. So like I said, first 15 minutes, we could have been 2 down. We've just got to accept facts. Then we settled. And I think once we settled and we managed to bypass West Ham's initial press, because what they did is they had Antonio and Kudus right on the edge of our box so that the ball kept going to Chaddy Riyad. But Riyad settled. He did settle. I'm not saying he was great, but after that initial period, he settled. And what he then started to do is start clipping the balls down the line, fizzing them into like the middle of the, he fizzed one into Eddie. Like, I mean, it was a pass that no one saw. It's like everyone thought it was going to go down the line, pinged it across the pitch to Eddie, and Eddie had a trampoline touch. Had he got that under control, once again, we're behind West Ham's midfield and going at the defence. So, like I said, Riyadh had settled. But there was a few things that, like I mentioned this in my fan cam, it was at that moment that when Riyadh settled, we stopped making runs. The only person trying to show for the ball was Adam Wharton. And I tell you what, this Adam Wharton is unbelievable. What he sees on the football pitch is mad, you know. And I'm so happy that after Suchek scored his goal, he was the one that turned around and was like, was just showing anger, because you know what? He worked his bollocks off yesterday. He absolutely did. And he deserves all the praise and all the credit. And Southgate, shame on you for not even utilizing him, you know. But Wood was the only one that was trying to make runs. Lerma was trying to get, but his runs were too telegraphed. They're like, he's ended up running behind one of the centre forwards, so it's not really making an angle, you know. And then obviously, if Chaddy had to go clip it down the line, Mateta wasn't then making the runs in behind as he usually does, you know. Or if Chaddy was trying to clip it into Mateta, it just wasn't getting there. It was just all disjointed until Adam Wharton started getting to the ball more. And then we started cooking. Sets up a chance for Ebbs. Ebbs has to do better. He has to score. I'm sorry. He has to score. Through ball down the left-hand side, yeah. And he cuts in. First touch, good. Second touch. If he lifts it, because obviously the goalkeeper's going to naturally have a dive down with the hands or down with his feet. Lift it a bit, he scores. And this was within about a 10-15 minute period where chances were starting to come. Even before that, Ebbs found Mateta. If this was the back end of last season, he takes that in his stride, and he probably tucks it his way, but he got caught under his feet. Granted, he obviously then gave it back to Ebbs, and his shot got deflected, looped over Areola's goal. But then let's just move on to last bit on Chaddy, because I want to move on to Edouard. Chaddy aerially just winning his headers. Like, he did well. He did well in that aspect. He just obviously struggled more so with the physicality of it, and obviously like the passing was a bit off. I think he needs a bit of time. Granted, he's still only, 2021. He'll get there. I think he'll get there. I think this was a good test for him, and it was a blessing in disguise. Like, I think that he'll learn from this. But Eddie, you're an experienced player here. And when he went through on goal, when he went through on goal, I was like, okay, come on, you come, we've got to hit it, we've got to score. And then I saw the shot, and he actually dragged it. And then when I looked at it on the replay, Areola's actually showing him the way where he's standing, that he could have gone to the so you know when you don't go across the keeper, but you go on the keeper's nearer side. There was enough of a gap for him to just bend it round in that direction. He's absolutely scuffed his shot. It was a stinker, and it kind of showed us Eddie's game. Eddie, apart from flashes where he was trying to work hard and stuff, he was terrible. He was terrible. And then obviously the last big chance we had, and this was obviously unlucky, Ebbs, well-worked corner, by the way, between Munoz and Wharton, and he smacks the crossbar. We then go in at half-time, and I see a lot of comments. I'm going to come to them in a second, guys. We go in at half-time. Now, this was very interesting. The half-time subs, normally you see them out there warming up and stuff. They were out for about 2 minutes, if that. And they were called back into the changing room, which to me tells me Glasner was probably having a massive go at the whole squad. But then at the same time, does that mean that they're getting a good enough warm-up? We don't know. Like, obviously, they could do the warm-up down the line. It is what it is. But it says to me that Glasner had a massive go at them. Come out second half, and I mean, big up to Early Doors who's in the chat. Like, please obviously agree or disagree with me here, since you're the West Ham fan here. It seemed like it was a very tentative second half. Very, very tentative. I think we had more of the ball. I wouldn't necessarily say that we were doing much with it. Eze, and and I'll hold up my hands up. I'll say I was very critical of him in aspects where he's just holding on to the ball too long. And this is why we do these match reactions the day after, because you can then think about it and re-watch things. He needs help. He needs help. It's almost giving me Zaha vibes. When Zaha felt he had to do everything by himself. We've got no Elise, but he had to try and work everything himself. And West Ham ended up just doubling him, you know. And obviously, when I drop the line, if you look jumping, we'll talk about the transfer. We got 5 days to put this right. It is a mess. We are it's so crazy that our actual squad was worse this week than it was last week, which says it all. Our squad against Brentford was better than our squad against West Ham. You know, it's a joke. So and this is why I love comments like this one. Enjoy your win. No one's upset here. No one's upset with your team. You took your chances. We didn't. That's the game of football. Like, so I don't know if you're upset about anything. You should be happy like you won. I'm explaining what's going on with my team. All right. So, so yeah, with that in mind, look, West Ham took both their goals very well. They were sharp in, like, looking back at that first goal, when I look at, they had about 4 or 5 players in the box. That's a good sign. That means that the gaffer's got something working for them. He wants them to be aggressive in their forward movement. Obviously, the second goal was on the break once again, but we've lost the ball in their heart, deep in their half. You know, so let's break down these 2 goals. Let's start with the first one. Now, shock that Aaron comes back and you know what? Fair play to him. Crazy run. Unbelievable run. But I want to show some. I've put up a few like screenshots. Let me see if I can find them. So I believe this is the first one. Yeah. So at this moment here, we've managed to get back all right because he's made a quality run. He's made an absolutely amazing run here. Like, we can't deny it's a great run. He bounced Kamada off the pitch. That's enough. Kamada should not have been playing centre mid. It didn't work. It just made us disjointed. But at the moment where Aaron turns back here, this is the moment we've switched off. And I'm going to point out both Eze and Kamada, because we've gone from this position where it's Aaron is the only person in this picture who's a threat at the moment, to this, where both Kamada and Eze are now chasing Bowen because they switched off, ball watching. You know, and obviously Munoz unlucky deflection and so on and so forth. They've scored their goal. And I want to say fair play to both Bowen and Souček, who had the presence of mind to obviously make sure that the young ball boy was okay, because obviously the advertising boards and that went down and stuff. So that's the first goal we conceded. And bear in mind, I think we lost the ball towards their corner. So we're attacking, so it's nearer the corner flag in the corner. And apologies for the noise in the background. My daughter's auntie has just turned up, so they're excited. And Aaron's made a run from literally his own half all the way up the field and stuff. So that's goal number 1. Goal number 2. Ebbs is trying to dribble through some sort of cul-de-sac. I don't know what he's doing. He's lost the ball. And this is, I believe it's Kilman. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Which shows that Kilman at some point had to dribble the ball for about 20 yards. You know, brilliant pass through the lines. But look, we can't have Kamada. It's Kamada that's running back here. And look, in this image here, when Bowen eventually cuts in and shoots, the 3 at the back are Riyad, Kamada, and Richards. You know, which just shows how all over the place we were in transition. It's an issue at the moment, because once again against Brentford as well, that's an issue we faced. It was the counter attack. You know, I mean, in phase of play natural, we didn't get broken down. I don't think we broke West Ham down either. This could have easily been a 0-0 game, in my personal opinion. I don't think there was enough quality from both sides, but that's football. You've got to make the pivotal moments count. When Eze and Edouard didn't tuck those away, because if they did, we could have gone off and won the game. Who knows? But then the pivotal chances that West Ham got with Souček and Bowen, they took them. You know, and this is where we need to improve. We've got obviously the midweek game, what do you call it, against Norwich. I don't even want to see changes. I don't. Listen. Chelsea's just thumped Wolves 6-2 when we're heading there next Sunday. We've got to play a stronger side and try and get a rhythm. Remember, we've not scored a goal. Yes, we lost 2-1 to Brentford. We didn't score. It was an own goal. We've not scored a goal. So I'd say, play our strongest side. I love wanting to have the youth involved and so on and so forth. But we've got to find some sort of rhythm, because otherwise we're going to find ourselves in big problems. Now, granted, we have got, like I said, 5 days to get this right. This is down to the board. They need to get ourselves an attacker of some sort, whether it's a striker or another 10, maybe even 2. And for me personally, give me someone with creativity. It has to be someone with creativity, because we can't rely on Ebbs doing all of it. What do you call it? We need cover for Mitchell. We definitely need a centre back, but we may even need 2. So we're looking at 4 to 5 players that we realistically need. In my honest opinion, something tells me we'll get about 2, maybe 3. But we'll have to wait and see. Let me check out your comments. And big up for the interaction, guys, in the comments. Big up, Tim. Yeah, tough watch yesterday. Big up, guys. Subscribe to Early Doors Football TV. I was on their channel yesterday with Tony. I hope I've got the right name right, because I know there's 2 Western fan channels I was on the last couple of days, so hopefully I've got that right. Didn't expect the scoreline to be fair. Look, you took your chances. You took your chances, and you got a response, so you got to be happy with that. Eze was so greedy, should have squared the ball and lost it instead, which led to I don't understand. There were numerous passes he could have made. Not saying that we would have scored from it, but he's trying to do too much at times, and I don't want to blame him because he needs help, but still he's got to make the right options. Like I said, same with Brentford. Mitchell's bombing down the left-hand side, and Eze keeps trying to dribble inside. Like, just use Mitchell. Mitchell's crossing's pretty decent at times, so it's just little things that we got to just get right, man. I have some sympathy for Ebbs. He did revert to hero ball, and that was costly, but he didn't do it right away. I was actually somewhat pleased with his tracking back in the first half. Look, like I said, first half I think we played well. Second half we didn't. That's how it was. Yep. And I know Bowen helps it as well. I'm hearing that they gave the young boy a top as well, a West Ham top, but they did a lot. Like, I saw fair play to them. First, we'll pour. Please smash the like button, guys. Big up, Chloe. Another failure of a transfer win. This is the thing. This is the biggest issue. And I don't know what it is about summer transfer windows, but it's like we always have a bit of momentum, and it's like the transfer window just stops all that momentum. It happened to Vieira. It happened to Roy. I don't know what it is. I really don't. Big up Lewis, who says, how do you reckon we should line up? We got sort of stronger side, in my personal opinion. We can't take anything for granted right now. We've got 2 games, 2 losses. So I think, and plus cup competitions we've got to take seriously. We need a cup run. Surely we'll see at least 2-3 youngsters for a Norwich game to save legs for the weekend. I wouldn't even do that, Tim. Like I said earlier, I don't think we're in that position. Let's just hypothetically said we had 4 points from the first 2 games. Then I think I would have said, yeah, you know what? Yeah, let's give some youngsters a go. But West Ham didn't start off too well, Rich, but I have to say AW coming in was difference. You know what? Yeah, because so far I wasn't given much of an attacking outlet. It's just, you know what? It's a mentality thing. It was a psychological thing. No word of a lie. Aaron came on, and none of our players wanted to try and beat him, because obviously as a 1-to-1, 1v1 defender, he's incredible. He's so good. We know. So it meant that everything had to come back inside. Like, Mitchell even was jockeying him up, trying to run at him. Then like, this is a long day. This is Aaron we're talking about. I'm going to pass it. So that was a very pivotal sub for you guys. Totally agree with that on that, Rich. Both sides were treading eggshells at one point, but we seem to find a way through. And I think obviously because of us both losing our first games, that didn't help. Obviously, yours obviously a tougher game against Villa away, which I think you actually played all right in that game. It's just Villa are just a good side, and so you should be. So you should be happy. 3 points, can't complain. However they come, look. a win's a win. However they come, got to take it. Got to take it. Like yesterday, mate, and big up E20 Zone TV as well. Subscribe to them as well. Like they've been very both West Ham channels, Early Doors and E20 Zone have been very like nice, I would say. I was on both their streams this week with batch previews, and they've been incredible, and they've got a lovely fan base as well. In both their channels as well. So guys, give them a subscribe. Like yesterday, first off, we wasn't on it. If Palace scores first, different game, and that's the key. There you go. I generally do think if we had taken one of those chances, we may have scored a few because we found a way through you. And like I said, Walton was so key to that. And even Lerma, I think Lerma had a good game looking back at it. Like he really nullified most of Bowen's attacks because he helped. He really helped. Kudus he's another level, by the way. Kudus is unbelievable. You know, I think he made a run, shook about 3-4 players. You know, it's good to see that. Yeah, James as well. Yeah, just James from E20 Zone TV. Good guys, James Antonio. Ebbs has to realize that he can't dribble for plus 3 or more players and use the fact that he's being double or triple teamed to pass to someone who has a better chance of doing something. Good point. Good point. Which we've explained earlier. Munoz did lose his head a bit on the first goal. Rich. He gets the header put back right in the... Yeah, you know, but to be fair, it came from Paqueta's shot was going well wide. And I think he just reacted because it was coming in, the ball was headed in this direction. I guess if he had ducked it, like it would have nullified the danger, but he's not to know that, you know. It was just like an instinctive header trying to clear it. Obviously, it's gone right back into the mix. But even then, we had bodies back and we just didn't react well. West Ham did. Let's see what else is there. Well, this is an interesting take, but hey, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Doesn't Commander deserve some blame for not sprint back as soon as Walton commits the tackle? He's Glasner's substitutions. That's twice in a row we've had a midfield change and we've lost control of the game, by the way. Just saying, once again, not saying we dominated, but Lerma and Walton was working. And if you're going to take off Lerma, you put on Check. You don't put on Kamada. If Kamada was coming on, and I was happy that he was getting stripped off to come on, but I'm thinking Eddie's coming off because Eddie was terrible and Eddie stayed on. You know, it is what it is. Only got this week, though, Rich, and you're bored. I'm not exactly ripping up cheese to buy anyone. Honestly, listen, if Friday comes and I'm gonna come back to this on Friday. I'm literally just waiting for Friday because Sunday could become toxic. You saw what happened last season at the Emirates with the banners and stuff. If we don't get this right by Friday, there's going to be a big problem. The problem is, it's already a problem because Glasner should not be coming into the season still needing 2 or 3 or 4 players. If it's coming towards the end of a window, 1 or 2 max, we're still needing 3 or 4 players. It's terrible. And the worst thing is, selling 2 players literally the day before a game is criminal. Absolutely criminal. Big up, JC.
Yo. All I'll say is we just finished, so we're just chilling with the chairman. It's his birthday, obviously. And he went, "What? They're live. Why are you not on there?" I was like, "It's your birthday." He's like, "Bruv, go on there." So I'm forced here against my will because I don't want to talk about this game.
I hear you. Nor do I. But remember, we don't hide. We have to do this.
Of
and
course.
I'm actually using this as a nice this is therapy for me. The chat's been very lovely too, by the way. Let's continue. Big up, Arthur.
I was checking it and I was like, "Rah, West Ham fans being nice." What's happening here?
There are good ones out there. Why did you buy Somerville sitting on the bench? It's a good question, but I'm glad he didn't. Well, I mean, I'm not glad he didn't come. It didn't make any difference. We lost, but if it's working, it's working for them, isn't it? Leeds United, best team in England. I'll leave that one there. He said, we have him back on. To be fair, I mean, I don't know. You've had a couple of games. I know you've lost 1, I think. Drawn 1. You won yesterday. Leeds will be fine. Leeds will be fine. And they've made some good money out of some of their sellings anyway, so hopefully they invest it well. Yeah, Bowen gave him his top. There's a nice touch from Bowen. Right, how many more have we got? Jesus, loads. I'm going to whiz through these. Be surprised if more than one player comes in. Loaning Rasaki. That's another aspect. If we don't get an attacking player and we've loaned Jez out, I'm going to fume. I am going to fume. You know, just turn my light off. Oh, I know what's up. Oh, I've lost my thing. Anyway, let's continue. And that's more Leeds talk. Transfer window designed to be hectic at the beginning and the end. Middle of the window is much, much tougher. It's not the point though, Tim. And I mean, in the sense of like, we shouldn't go into a season struggling for depth. Too much. It's every summer. It's every summer. I'm sick of all these watching and rumors and stuff. Just get him in. Just get him in at this rate. Honestly, I'm done. I'm done with. Just bring him in. Well, it's clear the club want him. Just sign him. I know 32 million.
Positive news that I've seen today is that Max Sensor-Qua was completely left out of the Wolfsburg squad for today's game. Yeah. Whether that is through injury or through him coming to Palace, that's the only kind of good news I can think of.
What I know, bro. Once again, just get the signings done. We are monitoring, watching
5 days.
It's just annoying. Big up OTC. Yes, we got you on Sunday. No. No, we're not.
Well, I think what I would say is that any chances that we had of signing Madueke are all gone.
They're gone. Yep, absolutely gone.
But I rate how he stood on business.
He was a problem today. Big problem.
Week before the game as well.
Yeah. Wolves is a
dead.
He said Wolves is a dump.
And then
he's done a post-match interview on it as well. He said, I'm really sorry. Those sort of things shouldn't be coming out on my socials. It was an accident. Big man, you're not admitting that it's not. He didn't mean it. You're just saying that he shouldn't have tweeted it or posted it. Crazy. I think that's fair, Rich. I hope the Corey is okay. So do I. Right. Big up Animal. You haven't had a comment from you. If last season you were told that Elise would be leaving to have his position filled by Edouard, it's mad. I'm sure we knew that Elise was going to see. How have we not got that? That should have been the first signing then. And if we're saying that it's Kamada and Sarr, then we've not done our homework. Personally, I'm just saying. I love trolls. We didn't get a sniff, but it's all good. And you know what, JC, if there's anything more you want to add, you can. I'm going to drop the link. It'll be great to hear from anyone. If you want to come in and have your say, the link is in the chat. Feel free to share your thoughts on yesterday's game.
I mean, obviously, I haven't really been watching, so if I say exactly what you said, please just let me know. That's all good. But there was points in this game where we showed quite a bit about ourselves. Granted, we are losing Elise, we are losing Anderson, but there were points in this game where we actually played to that level that we did at the end of last season. Like there was time where we negotiated a press from West Ham. We just went pass. Incredible football, great play, great movement. The only downside is that when it got forwards, it was to Edouard, who just can't shoot straight, basically. But the thing is, though, is as a striker, someone who was that lethal and that deadly at Celtic, and to be fair to him, I know it's pre-season, he was putting goals away in pre-season, so he knows where the goal is. To shank that chance wide on his strong foot.
As bad as he did it as well.
And especially the fact that he was, 2-3 players length away from the closest defender. So really, it was a one-on-one with the keeper, and he didn't even hit the target. Granted, he should be doing better there, but at least let the keeper make a save. Don't even make it so the keeper just watches it roll by. But there were times in this game where we weren't too bad, but very, very, very quickly, Lopetegui found a weak spot, and that was Shadi Riyadh.
Yeah.
Some people have said that he had an okay game. He grew into the game. Let's be real, he didn't. I don't think he did. Granted, he may or may not have grew into the game a little bit later, but whatever Glasner wanted from him, he was doing the exact opposite. When he had the ball and he pulled it out wide, you saw Glasner on the touchline, Rich, didn't it? You saw him go long,
Yeah.
and he passes it back. And then Glasner would have a go at him for like 5 minutes on the touchline. And it's just... I just don't think he's ready. We need a centre-back. I think Richards did all right. He definitely made up for his horror show that he had at... people are saying Opstein has reported, so let me have a quick look at that while I'm here.
I think it's Nketiah news. I hope it's not anything more than that. Because obviously we're here sitting here waiting for
Palace considering a move to sign Eddie Nketiah. Blah blah blah. Okay. Yeah, they're looking to close a deal, but because they flopped with Villa and Forest because they're asking for £30 million. But Palace are still interested. I hope we don't pay 30 M's. I really don't.
I don't. This is weird, but has it been rejected in the sense of because I thought that the Forest deal fell through because Jesus got injured, so that's why he couldn't finish his transfer because they needed him to. So this is interesting. At this rate, bring him in for what was it 30 million? I know it's too much, but I don't care no more. Pay the money, let Eddie go off back to Celtic for 15 or something, 20 million, and we just cut our losses. We need players. We need depth. And let's just hypothetically say we don't get Eddie Nketiah, which is I don't think we want him, but we can't just have Eddie and Mateta. It's not going to work. Tim, so sorry. You've been chilling here for a minute. So sorry, Tim.
Don't apologize. You're good.
We need a few players in a week.
We do. We just need the players in now. I've got to that stage now where
it's just a case of numbers now. It don't have to be quality in the numbers. It just has to be numbers now. Like
Absolutely.
we need it. For me, it's one of two things. I think you need a left-footed, right-sided player. I feel
Please
like
say that again. Can we get that one more time? Because we keep looking at these right footers, JC. Can you please say that one more time?
We need a left-footed, right-sided player to be able to cut inside.
Thank you.
Because that's how we got all of our joy.
With
and
a bit
guess
of
what?
creativity. Because like we said last week, Munoz is now isolated because it's just all over the place.
Well, you can see the difference between last season and this season. We all know Glasner likes his front three to be very close together, which means that they're very inside a lot of the time. Eze on the left, his strong foot is his right foot. He's always on a shooting angle with his right foot.
I like that, Lewis.
Edwards is the only guy at the moment that is feasible to get. But remember, at the start of this window, we were looking at
we had a long list.
There's a long list, but if you're talking about right-sided left footers, you're talking about Sule, you talk about Sarah. If anything, you talk about Amari Hutchinson. That's 3 already in our price range, and we just said nah.
Asprilla
as well. He's at Genoa or Genola, whatever. But still, we need that left-sided player because now we've got a right-sided player.
McAtee.
McAtee. What happens with a right foot on the right side? They want to stay wide so they can use their right foot, whereas a left footer wants to come inside. It makes no sense. And the thing is, apparently Glasner wanted Sarr, so you're asking for someone that can't play in your own play style.
Well, you know what? I generally think Sarr was brought to be a centre forward.
Okay, that's the important point because when Glasner's talked about Sarr, he's talked about
a striker.
He said he calls him a striker. He does not call him a winger. He calls him a striker. So that seems to be how Glasner thinks about him. Not to be the width option, right?
I told you.
Don't disrespect Ayew. We missed him so much. We missed him so much yesterday. I'll say that with chest. We really missed him.
Yeah.
But that we need
Sorry,
a left
Tim, you're saying.
footer desperately.
No, I mean, look, I thought Sarr was threatening yesterday. I thought he looked pretty good. And interestingly, when he did look threatening, he was coming into the box almost like he was a striker, which is interesting to see. I would like to see balls over the top too. I'd like to see what happens when we run him out and we start, getting some balls over the top for him to run into. But that does not invalidate the point that Munoz is supposed to give the width. If Sarr is out there and he's playing in the right wing, then he gives the width. So then what does that mean? Does that mean now that Munoz is an underlapping fullback and that's his role now? And that's how we get, threat on the inside? I mean, I guess you can do I don't or can you do that? I don't know. I mean, I guess you can, but it feels a little weird. But I if we could say one thing on the transfer window, I'm a little bit more sympathetic to the club, and I get this is going to be an unpopular opinion. So here we go. Red alert, unpopular opinion. We have to do two things in the transfer window. We don't have to do one thing. There are a certain number of clubs, and we are one of them, that has to compete financially. Like there's a bunch of clubs that do not have to compete financially. Man United does not have to compete financially. Liverpool, Chelsea, none of these clubs have to compete financially. We do. We have to do that because we have to create room inside of our balance sheet, and it has long-standing effects when we get it wrong. Because we have to eat, when we eat the profits, it really kills us over multiple seasons. So we have to be better at it than like 80% of the clubs in the Premier League. And so far, I think we're a 4 of 10 in the Premier League for transfers so far in terms of depth. We have not come anywhere near to figuring out the depth. But on the financial side of things, I think every deal, strip timing out of it. Because I think you're right that the timing of losing Anderson and losing Ayew was just like gut-wrenching. That was really hard going into yesterday's match.
Yeah.
In terms of the finances,
I think it would have been no harm if they were both in the squad for Saturday and left today.
There you go. Right.
Or left tomorrow. Fair enough.
That would have
Don't leave on a Friday.
I know. Like that's and Glasner said in his press conference that those moves, because everybody knew it was happening, that was noise that had an impact in training during the week, which is a problem. But on basis only of the financials, what we've done so far has been what we as a club need to be doing. But we still need left-footed attacker. We still need a center back, and we are desperate for wing-back cover. I think I'll be happy if we get 3. I don't know that we're going to get 3, but I don't. Yeah, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. It's a really hard set of days. But this is why I get so furious with the big club bias. It's like, you know what? Shut the hell up. You don't have to do what we have to do. You don't have to do what Palace has to do. You don't have to compete financially. Shut the hell up. I don't want to hear it. So I get that is not satisfying because, Rich, we need depth desperately. But the reality is we have to do two things that other clubs don't have to do.
No,
sorry, that's my rant over.
To be fair, when it comes to finances, I shut up and listen because you know more in that remit than I do, to be honest.
I wish it didn't have to be that way, because if we could just go get the depth that we need. Because here's the thing, like the transfer that I think is super interesting, and I don't know if this report is credible or not, so I'm curious what you think about it. Moving Sam Johnston to Wolves as part of a swap deal that includes Ryan Ait-Nouri. He played pretty well today. I'm not sure we can get him
in.
Seriously, man.
He is a baller.
Too much money. Too much money.
It is
no,
expensive.
but you know what? If he's a 10, if we say Johnson is a 10 million to 15 million pound keeper, and you can come in, I will 100% pay. You know what? you take him, you take Johnston, and we'll pay you $15 million. And I'd take that deal all day long. That's a great deal. He's young. He's progressive. That's a hell of a deal if we could make that happen.
He's a quality player. I know this is coming out left field, but I saw that. I was like, hey, Nori.
Seriously. That would, I mean, I don't know if I can see it, but
where would it leave Mitchell though? Then you're spending serious cash on a Premier League starting level fullback. Is there going to be some serious rotation there, or is Mitchell going to get booted out of his spot?
Do you know what I was saying on that? The guy is so good. He in the first game against, who did he have first game?
Oh, his debut he scored against us. I know that about Nori.
No, but in the game this season against Arsenal, he played centre mid.
Yeah,
he can actually, and he's played left wing as well.
He can also play a 10. He can also play a 10.
I'm not mad at it.
Like, he is a highly versatile player.
Yeah, he's very good, to be fair. Cody, how you doing, mate?
Doing good, guys. How are y'all?
Getting on with it.
Yeah.
Talk to us. Share your thoughts on yesterday and the transfer stuff as well.
As far as yesterday, I don't know, man. It didn't seem like one of our best games, obviously, but I mean, it is what it is. You just got to kind of take it with a grain of salt. Hopefully, we can improve from there. And there were some spots in the game where I just didn't agree with. I mean, especially with the starting lineup. I'm kind of on the thought process of, I don't think Edward should have been in that 10 role. Should have been Kamada, or even maybe start Sarr there. The problem with I have with Edward, man, he's good when he gets the ball at the goal. But the problem is his passing was very questionable yesterday. With a lot of that, it's just not the position for him. I mean, obviously. So I was a little confused there. Other than that, I don't know. I got to thinking after the game yesterday, and I was sitting there thinking to myself, we need that creative player right there where Edward was playing yesterday. So would it be a crazy shout to maybe put Wharton there for a game and see how he does? Knowing how you don't
want to lose him from the middle. He's that good.
I understand that, but I mean, if you think about it in a way, and like I said, I kind of agree with that. That's why I'm kind of going back and forth with it. But if we had Decore in and Lerma there, and I know we had Hughes out yesterday, but knowing that, I mean, Kamada can play midfield too. So I don't know. It seems like it's not out of the realm of possibility for Wharton to be a very good passer, because what we need is Mateta getting the ball in the box.
Yeah, and that's he was very isolated yesterday.
He got no service, man.
Yeah, and Wharton bringing him a little bit closer to Mateta might be an outlet for Mateta to finally get the ball and get back to his scoring form. But like I said, that's just maybe an observation I'm making, but I don't think it's maybe out of the realm of possibility of possibly trying it with us struggling at that position right now.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Let's just say, and this is hopefully a massive hypothetical, that the right sub was made yesterday, where Kamada came on for Eddie as opposed to, because Lerma and Wharton played well.
Yeah,
like Lerma did a lot of work just making sure that Bowen was nullified. The moment Lerma left, and granted, probably because he was booked. That's the only thing I can go by. Thanks to the ref who got in his way as well, by the way.
Yeah.
But then you put in Czech, because Czech's also very good at just taking out fires.
Right.
And I know we're trying to ease him back in, but surely he could have done 30 yesterday.
Yeah.
And then if Kamada goes in for Eddie, I think that's still enough to go and try and nick it. But the moment Glasner made that change and put Kamada in midfield, Wharton's all of a sudden by himself in the middle of the park.
Yeah.
And fair play, like I said to Aaron, West Ham had runners, and they had willing runners, and we could not stop them.
Yep.
So I don't know. What about the transfer window, Cody? What's your thoughts on that, and how many players do you think we need?
Positional wise, I think we need backups for the wing backs for sure. I mean, if it would be a really bad position if we were put with Mitchell and maybe Munoz out at the same time. It's too much of a risk. I think we need to definitely bring those in. I think we need to find another 10 with Eze. I think we definitely need another center back, obviously, with Anderson gone. I don't know. I think we need some players at some positions. The Raheem Sterling rumor going around with everything with that. I think it's not a bad move. It's just if we can get him for a decent price on the matter.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Did you see what the rumor was on the price, Cody? Or did you?
Yeah, it was. Well, I saw that it was like his wage was like 300,000 or something like that a week.
All right. Well, the latest report was that Palace will demand that Chelsea subsidize 225,000. So he's on 325 a week. So put him on 100K a week, and we pay all in $8 million on a season-long loan. I don't just given
That's
the amount
of money.
But you know what, Rich? Given the amount of money we've brought in, if we need somebody to be a foil for Ebbs, I don't hate it.
I won't be mad.
All we have to pay is $8 million.
I mean, if you think about it, getting rid of Ayew pays for it completely.
That's a good point, actually.
But isn't that the same amount we were kind of what was it, $9 million on the loan with Zaha? When we were looking
at what? Yeah. Who? Say the name again. Why am I forgetting?
Galatasaray.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. With Will.
So I mean, it's like if that's the case in my mind, anyways, it's like if it's only that little bit much more. But I guess it would depend on what Zaha would want on his wages. But if we're looking at a familiarity. I mean, I'd almost just get Zaha at that point because he's familiar with the club. We all know Zaha. Sterling, yes, he's a good veteran presence, but it would take him a minute to get going with the club. So I guess it depends on time management. If we were wanting to get somebody like that and take some time, maybe a couple of weeks before Sterling gets, running with us properly. But I mean, if that's the money we're talking about, it's like, why not just go ahead and grab? I mean, in my opinion, grab Zaha if that's the case.
I'm gonna throw a hypothetical or curveball.
I can't lie. I would still choose Sterling if you choose him or Wilf.
I would too. Say why, JC, and I'll tell you.
I'll tell you
why. I think that Sterling has had so much time at the absolute top of the game, and he's a proven goal scorer. I think whenever he's played consistent minutes, he gets over 10 goals every year. I think when he first signed for Chelsea, he was the one that was getting all their goals. And he didn't really have much help around him. And also, he's 29, whereas Wilf will be 32, I think.
That's true. Yeah.
And also, Sterling still has pace. Wilf has no pace anymore.
Right. And I'll give you one more reason, and it's a not to use I'm not going to overuse this NFL phrase, but he's got a Tom Brady chip on his shoulder right now.
Yeah.
Raheem Sterling has got a chip on his shoulder, and I want that. Yeah. I want that fuel on our side. I would like to see it.
I love to too. I think him and Ebbs would cook. I mean, they'd be great.
I do too.
You know what? Chelsea have disrespected him, just giving Neto his number 7 shirt, by the way. But this is why I said I was going to chuck in a little bit of a hypothetical curveball. Do we pay 8 million for Sterling on loan, or do we look at Ryan Shirky on a permanent for 15?
This depends, does it not, on what our relationship is with, at least to some degree, John Texter. Doesn't it? Doesn't it depend on it a little bit? Don't you think?
Yeah, it does.
And I don't know. It's very unclear. Texter has.
But on the flip side, does he not need money?
He does need money. And Leon needs money, but it's really freaking weird, man, because this is why I'm not going to I don't want to go too far down my Texter rabbit hole, but the shenanigans of the last couple of weeks are why I never wanted John Texter in charge of Crystal Palace Football Club, because he's been all over the place. He's been whack. Yeah. It's been weird. He has
it's the
gone.
Fact that he said I'm gone, and then he tries to buy everyone out, and then he says the second that I can't do that, I'm gone again.
Right.
It's a bit.
It's
flip floppy.
it's very dodgy. It's very dodgy.
Tim, like what we said, he's very impulsive and reckless with his decisions.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
how much did he actually pay for Leon? Because it's reported 600 million. You're thinking, well, he ain't got that kind of money. No way.
No. He raised, so without going too far down the rabbit hole here, he raised a lot of that money to buy Leon. He had a partner in a New York. I don't know if they're a hedge fund or if they're just a capital management firm, but Ares Capital is a big capital management firm here in the States based out of New York. So he raised a boatload of money with Ares and that group that they were involved in, which kind of was a big investor in Eagle Football, which is the holding company. So Texter owns Eagle Football. So it goes like this. Texter owns Eagle Football, and then underneath that is Molenbeek, Botafogo, Leon, Palace, right? And he needs, in order to take this entity and move it to the New York Stock Exchange as a public company, every one of those assets has to be fully controlled. So he has said this, like, in order for me to do the thing I want to do, which is take my company public, he's done it before. He did it with Fubo TV. He needs to have a club that he can control, and he wants it to be a Premier League club, and he would prefer it to be Palace. And that was never going to happen. So now he wants out and he wants Everton. Like, he ain't the savior of Everton. What he wants and what Everton's going to find out, whether or not this is good or bad, I don't know, JC, but what Everton's going to find out is if he buys the club, he's going to raise a ton of extra money from external investors. And then it's going to be the whole thing is going to be on the New York Stock Exchange. And then is that good? Is it bad? I'm glad it's not Palace. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, because if no one buys the stock, what's the value going to do?
Well, this is it.
Yeah.
Just quickly, I just want to say big up to Donna. She's a lovely lady. Came to check my boiler one time. Says she does YouTube. I said, "Oh, what's YouTube?" And basically, she does a lot of like cooking stuff. So she grows her own produce in her garden and the cooks and stuff. So give her a follow if you like cooking stuff, guys. Give her a subscribe as well.
I think if we go back to Cherky, I think I would. This is probably going to be a controversial opinion. I would stay well away from him for the pure fact of I don't think he's fully there mentally. I think if Dortmund, who are probably one of the best teams in the whole world to grab a young player that's struggling a little bit, turn him into a superstar. They've done it with Jadon Sancho. Yeah. They've done it with Bellingham. They've done it with so many players and turn them into absolute superstars. For them to look at Cherky and go, nah, I think there's too much wrong there. PSG saying no. And then when Fulham made a bid that Leon actually accepted, himself said, I ain't going to Fulham. I think his in his head, he thinks he's already ready for Arsenal, Man United, Liverpool. He already thinks he's there.
Yeah.
But what he needs to do is what Elise did. He needs to come to a team which is in the Premier League, so he has a platform to show that skill, and then he can move on.
What if, hypothetically speaking, he's waiting for us to bid? He's got JP there.
Yeah, no way.
You know?
No way. He got disrespected at the Olympics as well.
Yeah,
he hardly got any game time.
Yeah, Henry was weird with it though. He's
Henry's
literally
just not
like
a good coach, though. Let's be real.
He's a mini Deschamps. Henry is. With all the talent that France had, I was looking at that. Why are they playing some rubbish football?
and then the hypothetical I'd ask back to you, Rich, is: do you get Cherky for 15 to 20, or do you spend 20 to 25 on Edwards? And then I go Edwards.
Edwards is my first choice.
Anyway. Yeah.
He's the only one left that I would happily take at the moment.
Oh, the list is just getting so much smaller.
Yeah, it's not good. Say that.
You know what? To finish off, Cody and Tim, you two do some player ratings. It'll be very interesting to see what your thoughts, because obviously we've got our one out there.
Making us do this.
Yeah, gives me and Jason a chance to sit back and laugh ourselves now.
Well, some people said that they nearly fell asleep with how boring our player ratings were.
I didn't know we needed the pom-poms. We lost. Nah, it's all good though. It's all good. Right, Tim, since you were here first, Dean Anderson.
I mean, I can't blame him for the goals. It's got to be a 5, right? Like he wasn't terrible. He wasn't great. I don't blame him for the goals. I like that his distribution's getting better. 5.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Which side should we start with, JC? Should we do Richards or should we do Riyadh?
No, you go left back, left centre back, centre back.
So we'll go Mitchell first then.
Yeah.
All right, Cody Mitchell. So tell me, Riyadh.
Mitchell wasn't too terrible. It's just I need him to get more. I don't know. I need to see more from Mitchell. It's like I've seen what he can do. It's like it's not like he's off form, but he's not fully on form right now. I'd give him I'll give him a 6. I'll give him a 6. Because it wasn't too bad. He made some good plays, crosses into the box. But like I said, I need more from him to give him anything higher.
Tim, Chatty Riyadh.
How harsh do I want to be, given that he's still 20, right? Am I right about that? He's still 20.
Yeah.
First, this is a great point, Kyle, regarding Mitchell. Ebbs needs to pass him the ball, man.
Yeah. He needs to be moving the ball more. I mean, I can agree with what you said about him, giving him a 2. I want to give him a 4. I don't think I'm going to split the difference and I'm going to give him a 3. He got beat, not so much for pace. He looked naive in way, way too many situations. He looked like a young player yesterday, and he got exposed as a result. He got better. He looks like he's going to be good in the air. He looks like he's going to be, brave going forward, but he got done. He got done a lot. So I'll go 3.
Mark Gay, Cody.
Ooh. He wasn't too terrible either. Made some good stops at runners with the ball. But like I said, he's had his better days too at the same time. I'm gonna have to go give him a 6 too.
Just a quick shout out. So big up to Colin. I've got the message. So shout out to his little cousin Dixie. I nearly got caught. I'm so glad I caught myself there, Colin, I hate you.
You almost got Bart Simpson there.
I know.
That was close.
Oh my gosh, I was so close. Right. I'll put in the private chat what he put. I can't believe I nearly fell for that.
You're an idiot.
Behave, Colin. Behave.
Rich, you are an idiot. Who was next? I think
it's
Tim. You was
Richards.
with Richards, right?
Yeah, Richards.
I need a sin bin.
I'll go 5. I thought he started shaky, and then he got better as the game went along. It was nice to see after he was just terrible in the air against Brentford. That was a pretty shocking performance. So he was much better. 5.
Cody Munoz.
Man, what an interesting game for him yesterday. It's just like he doesn't seem to have that extra sting about him when he doesn't have, you can tell the guy's missing a player like Elise there. So he lost the ball, but he also made tackles yesterday. I'm going to give him – I'll give him a 5.
I think that's a bit harsh. Tim, Adam Wharton.
7. Terrific.
Yeah.
He was excellent. The only thing I could really ding him for is he was in some spots a little too late with his challenges, and when he's late on the challenge that leads to the second goal, that really hurt us. But I love that he goes in for him, and he's usually quite good at it. So I'm not really going to ding him for it. He's outstanding. Best player on the pitch, 7.
Cody, I'll give you Lerma.
Wasn't bad actually. Trying to make a good shot at goal yesterday. Defended pretty well. It did make a couple bad passes, I noticed. That's actually a tough one. I'll go with the 6. No, I'll give him a 7. I'll give him a 7. He actually did pretty well yesterday, in my opinion.
Okay. Tim, we'll give you Eze.
I'm not going to hit him as hard as you guys did in the player ratings. I'll give him a 5. I do think the hero ball is very, very frustrating. I find it hard to hit him too much for this when we haven't given him a partner that he trusts coming in from the right. And it's he needs to know better than this. He's got to trust his teammates, and he's got to build new combinations. So he's not blameless, but I'll give him a 5. And especially in that first half when he was sticking inside the system and tracking back and then picking up the ball and bringing it forward and playing it off of Wharton, that actually looked great. When he was doing that, it looked like we were actually going to do some things in the match. So 5.
Cody, we'll give you not Edward. We'll give you Mateta.
Oh man. Well, it didn't get the ball much yesterday, and like I explained, like it's a lot of it's not his fault. I mean, there's no creativity besides Eze to give him the ball right now, and Eze, he's just kind of, I don't know. I commend him on giving the efforts, because he I don't know if in his head he feels like he needs to be that extra person to try to get those goals or make those shots for us at this time. But at the same time, he does have a player like Mateta to give the ball to. But Mateta wasn't bad. He was pressing, doing what he needed to do. I'll give him a solid 6. I think he did pretty well. It's just he just didn't get the ball yesterday. It was the only fault.
Mm-hmm. And finishing out the starting 11, Tim, you got Edward.
You're killing me. You're killing me, Smalls.
Good luck, Tim.
All right. I'm going to say 2. I wish Eddie, and I had to think about it. I was rating him a little bit higher yesterday because I liked the energy. I liked that. I think Glasner's lit a fire under him to get involved in the press, to get moving more. His movement is better. His finishing, atrocious. And he's still slow. It's not good enough. It really cost us. It's hard. I don't dislike him, but at this point, he's becoming a bit of a boat anchor. I think he was a bit of a boat anchor yesterday, which sucks. I don't like saying that about any player. Yeah, Kyle ain't wrong. I don't detect any lies there.
Yeah.
We're going to skip over the subs because I think, actually no, we're not going to skip over the subs. I think they're all didn't really have enough time to be on the pitch enough. Yeah. I think that Star was probably the best out of the 3 that came on.
Yep.
But Cody, we'll give you Kamada. Granted, he was in a dodgy position.
I mean, let's see, how many minutes did he play yesterday? It was like, came in at about the 60th, 70th minute or so yesterday? He made touched the ball a couple times. I mean, I think I can only honestly give him a 5. I mean, that's just.
I feel like that's generous, man. That feels
think so?
generous to me. It does. It does. I guess I don't want to influence. Well, I will influence your decision, Cody.
Yeah,
I thought he
go
was
ahead.
terrible. I thought he was terrible yesterday. Sorry.
Okay.
I thought he was terrible.
Okay. No, I hear you.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't have. I mean, obviously, he didn't have his best game when he did come in, but at the same time, it was almost. It felt like the Brentford game. I don't know. I had an opinion on the Brentford game where it's just like there was nothing there with him. He made some passes, but it's just like there's players on this club. We need to see more out of them. We just need to see more. Or adjustments got to get made because man, we can't keep going into these games and just taking a beating. I mean, it's not good. We got to find some players. And Kamada, I think he can be there for us, but I don't know. But Tim, I do see what you're saying. I mean, now that I'm going back and looking at it through it in my head, yeah, I think I might adjust that to probably like I'll give him a 3. I'll give him a 3.
Mm-hmm. I think Kamada could be there for us, but he has to play in the 10 position, and I think that's where the next rating comes in.
But just before that, like you see, even when Kamada was deep, some of the passes he were making were actually pretty decent passes.
Yeah.
You know, the little clips over the top and stuff like that. He needs to hit the gym though.
I just can't get over how he tried to full-on rugby tackle Wan-Bissaka, and Wan-Bissaka just went.
Oh, that's right.
And just ran past him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was not good, was it?
Yeah.
He needs a few steak dinners, we'll say. But Tim, we'll give you Oliver Glasner.
Oh gosh, that was not a great performance yesterday from the manager in terms of the subs.
It's 2 in a row though.
Feels like he got it wrong.
Do you think this is a statement to the board?
No, I don't, because the man wants to win matches, and so I don't think he does that in game. I think what I like about Glasner is that he speaks his mind. So if it was a statement to the board, Rich, he'd say it. He wouldn't be passive aggressive and do it on the pitch. He'd say it. And he'd say it in his press conference, and he'd say it directly to the board first. Then if he wasn't getting an answer, he'd go right to the media. That's the history of Oliver Glasner. So I don't think he does that. But tactically, I don't know what he saw with putting Eddie where he put him. I originally thought maybe we're going to see the Glasner 3-5-2, and I don't really think we saw that. So I don't know, man. I guess it's got to be a 5. I might be too generous there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when I saw the lineup, I was kind of hoping for that, where you had Eze sort of in the sole 10 in the middle, and then you had
just playing right behind them.
Top.
Yes, right, yes. Exactly. If Ebbs could be central and play right behind those two. Exactly. Yes, exactly right.
Grant, I get by doing that you lose a lot of width, but you get a lot more up front though. And also, I know it's quite a while ago, but even when Roy Hodgson played Edouard and Mateta up front together, we were winning games.
Yeah.
We were showing presence up top. I don't get why we wouldn't do that if we had 2 strikers. And also, he's deployed that 3-5-2 at Wolfsburg. He's done it at Frankfurt. I'm sure he actually had his Europa League final playing that formation instead of his 3-4-3.
Okay.
But I don't know. Maybe he just doesn't trust Edouard enough as a shooter. And clearly, after missing a 1-on-1 and missing a target, I don't blame Glasner for not trusting him as a shooter up front, really.
Yeah.
Well,
tough one.
Guys, we'll leave it there. Please check your messages before you try to say anything out loud and live. Make sure you fact-proof it and fact-check it.
I want to know the whole message so I know how you got finessed.
Put
it in the group chat. We'll talk about it after.
I nearly got done bad, and I thought, oh my days, I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
You know what though, Rich? You got back and you made the last ditch tackle. Unlike Kamada.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry, I was a little bitter. I was a little bitter at Kamada's performance.
Yeah,
guys, tomorrow's the
right.
last Transfer Weekly episode. Tuesday, we're at Sellers Park, so there'll be fan cams for the Norwich game. We just have to win that game.
I think we can do it.
We need to win it for confidence.
And then
I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, facts.
So because we've got the transfer deadline day stream on Friday, we might push the preview forward to Thursday, even though we're playing on Sunday. So yeah, but we'll keep you posted with that as well. Guys, enjoy the rest of your weekend. And yeah, just try and enjoy these 5 days because it's going to be nerve-wracking. This stuff. Tim, Cody, appreciate you being here with us.
Up the Palace.
Up the Palace, guys.
Up the Palace. Are you not doing the outro, big man? Oh my gosh. Let me do it.